Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Mateo Burillo, training manager. I see a lot of known faces. So, well, I do the training, the books, the online and on-site courses, and sometimes I have to interfere, do the interface between Zentyal developers and mortals, right? For interface and this type of things. Okay, so this talk will be focused on the gateway and UTM parts of Zentyal. Okay, it's going to take around 1 hour, a little less, like 45 minutes, and then questions. But really, if you have a question, just raise your hand. Okay.
Everybody's using the term UTM. What exactly do you mean?
Unified Threat Manager.
No.
Okay, so it's security.
Right,
Okay.
security.
Okay. So yeah. Just raise your hand, this is funnier, okay? Don't hesitate to interrupt me. So, yeah. Enough domain services already, okay? We are tired of that already. Yeah, I recall the last session somebody was asking that, yeah, I see all this Active Directory and Open Change, but we still do all the other things, right? That's what this talk is here to highlight. We are still evolving the gateway part, the UTM part, infrastructure, and so on. So it's just really the marketing message is getting more focus on these technologies, but the real thing has all these modules. So, yeah. So as I said, Open Chains and Microsoft Active Directory integration is probably the Elvis Presley, okay, of these sessions, and for good reasons, okay. It's a very exciting features, but we still do all the other things, and we do it very well. Okay. Zentyal can be an excellent gateway UTM infrastructure solution for your business. Okay, next slide. No, last one. Okay, so we have missed a slide. No worries, I know it by heart. So what are the advantages of having Zentyal as your UTM? There are a lot of UTM solutions, gateway solutions. Well, first of all, if you are already using Zentyal, the interface and the behavior will feel very natural. So it's much easier to learn. It's the same logic, same steps, same changes, blah, blah, blah. You know it already. So it's going to be much more familiar. Secondly, it will be cheaper. Okay. If you already have a commercial edition, this gateway part also benefits, of course, of the quality assured updates, extra filters. You have, for example, more rules for the prevention, intrusion prevention systems. You have more rules in the proxy, etc. So let's make a quick review of 4 of the core modules, more central modules present in the gateway part. And we will start with the firewall, okay? How is this going to work? I will explain some theory, and then we will see a small demo, okay? Brief demo. I will be doing it with live virtual machines. And for some of the demos, I need the internet connection, which is basically asking for problems in a presentation, but come on, it's a workshop. Let's do some work. Okay, so the firewall. This is the technical track. So you very likely know the basics of a firewall already. So what I want to highlight in the firewall, first of all, is Zentyal's firewall is safe by default. Okay, you install it. You don't have a clue about firewalls and how to configure them, no worries. By default, it's already safe. Then you can start learning and customizing your firewall. Okay. And also benefits from the abstractions, the objects and services that you can configure. Okay. You can do different SNAT and DNAT rules to forward your traffic. And of course, on the background is based on IP tables and net filter. So, Xavi, please, let's see the interface of the firewall. Okay. Enter. Okay, this is the new, okay, you have already seen it, the new 3.2 interface looking much nicer. Okay. We finally got a proper designer, so in this aspect, things are going to improve from now on very fastly. So, okay, Zentyal Firewall is very clear, very intuitive. You have 4 blocks. Each one of these blocks controls one traffic direction. Okay. From the LAN to Zentyal, between LANs, from the outside to Zentyal, and traffic coming out for Zentyal. Can we see the filtering rules from external to Zentyal, third block? Okay. This is empty, meaning that nobody can reach your services from the internet by default. Okay. So imagine that we have a wonderful web page. We want anybody to visit it. We will just add a rule. Okay, accept HTTP and make a description if we are. Okay, as easy as that. We want to have a log of the accesses. Okay. So, yeah, that will be it. Okay? This reads very naturally and also benefits from the objects. Xavi, can you show the objects for a second? Okay, so objects. I can group different abstract concepts I have as a system administrator, putting them names. So you can say this floor is the developers, so the network range is 192.168, blah, 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 plus this other network range, plus, okay? And the marketing team is located in these 3 rooms, so the subnets that correspond to these 3 rules, blah, 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 blah. Okay, what do you achieve with this? If we go back to the firewall, we say, for example, we don't want the developers to access the SSH present in Zentyal server, okay? Deny, source, here we can use these abstractions, developers, SSH, deny. So, who hasn't seen this interface before? Everyone has seen it? Okay, nice. So, well, the idea is that this reads very naturally, forbidden developers to SSH. And you may be an expert with IP tables, but the IP tables rule will read like port, TCP, 22, network ranges, blah, 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 blah. And even if you are an expert, if you have to do a deployment, you do the deployment and then you do any other things, and 2 years later, the client asks you for some maintenance, you will save some time because you will have your comments, you will have your objects established, and the rules will read very naturally to you, much more than a bunch of IP addresses and ports that you have to recall what they mean. Okay. Well, as I said, actually, if you're an expert, you can see the ugly truth behind all these rules. Xavi, please. Yes, a second. Yeah.
Do you think it's possible in the future to have those rules that you can give position by a number? Because sometimes I want to organize my rules.
Yeah.
Click, you know,
No. You see that in the new interface, you can drag and drop.
okay.
Yeah, we already think of that. I love that you make this question. So, yeah, now you can drag and drop the rules around. Yeah, that was that was a common complaint. Yeah, Nacho also was a little frustrated with this. So yeah, can we go back to the console, please? Less with less, please. Okay, so you still have the as I call it, the ugly truth behind, and if you are an expert with the IP tables and net filter, you can modify this behavior. Okay, well, no, you can't. because Zentyal's framework is an evil dictator, and the next time you save changes, it will be overwritten. Okay, but yeah, actually you can do it. It's just a matter of using the mechanism we provide to modify this behavior. So you can use the stubs and the hooks, and just put in the script in the correct directory will do the trick. Okay, so you can modify it if you know what you are doing. This goes for every Zentyal module. Okay. So yeah, let's review the next module. Let's go back to the slides. Same virtual machine. Okay, so traffic shaping, another important feature. Next slide, please. Don't move it yet. Okay, don't move it yet. Okay, I have a really cool animation here. Okay. No, it's not that cool, but okay. So, well, you have different users, and these users are doing different things. Some services may require a lot of bandwidth, like downloading file system, operative system image, and other services may not require much bandwidth, but are very sensitive to latency and jitter. Okay. Video conferencing, for example. So what you want to do? You want to make everyone happy. Okay? You don't want that a person downloading a very big file starts interfering with the people doing the video conference, then you have a 2 seconds lag and the conversation starts to break. Okay? This is very common. So, well, this is what you may know as quality of service. Quality of service, traffic shaping, traffic modeling, we have a lot of names. Okay? So basically what you can achieve with this is to model every package, do the animation. Okay. And thanks, Paula. Paula made this animation for me. I'm terrible with these office things. I don't like them. Okay. So yeah, you can establish the priority and the limited bandwidth and the guaranteed bandwidth for each one of these protocols. Okay. So, well, we also have L7 protocols. So if you remember the 7 layers of the ISO standard, which nobody really cares about, the last one, the L7 is application. Okay. This means that you can choose or difference between the types of traffic depending on the application. So you can say SSH has a guaranteed rate of 50 kilobytes per second. Okay. You don't have to remember the ports, and even better, if they change the port, it will still work. Okay. So can we see the machine is starting? Okay. Okay. So yeah, a new feature that we are going to see that is new in 3.2 is the ability to prioritize small control packets. Because by default, this is important to understand, by default, these rules are applied at connection granularity. I mean, you apply the limited rate or the guaranteed rate to one single connection. But inside one single connection, we actually have data packages, and we have flow control packages. So a very common problem we detected, and a solution that is already present in a lot of routing machines or just the access point, is to prioritize, independently of the connection, prioritize small control packets, like these ACKs, SYN, FIN, which are very small and are especially flagged. Okay. This way, even if somebody is taking all your connection, okay, normally the downlink is much wider than the uplink. Okay. So it's also common to have the problem when somebody is downloading very fast, and then the other downloads have problem because the uplink is already full, so the control flow package cannot go through, and they start to have problems, and they start to drop connections. Okay, because the ACK reply doesn't come in time, and so on. Can we see it now? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's wait for the virtual machine. Okay. Problems around here? Okay, we have it already. Sácame si quieres la esta. Okay. So let's go to Zentyal and see how this works. Okay. Quality of service. Okay. So yeah, basically you install the traffic shaping and L7 protocols. Okay. Yeah, let's go to the traffic shaping interface down there. Traffic shaping. Yeah, you have it there with a nice semaphore icon. Rules. Okay. So there is a difference between download rules and upload rules. Okay, this is always from the point of view of the user. So downloading a movie will be in the download rules. Uploading some files to the cloud will be on the upload rules. Okay. Yeah, there is another way of remembering this, that is that the shaping is always done on the second interface that the traffic passes through. Okay. So if you are downloading, it first passes through the one, and then it gets shaped on the LAN, and the other way around. Okay. Let's see how to add a new rule. It's also very easy, very intuitive. Okay. So you have the base on firewalls, that is all the rules we have in 3.0 and before, and this new thing, the prioritize small control packets. Okay, this will automatically, okay, it's like Ryanair. Okay, we will have a VIP queue, and these packages will be deployed first. Okay, so any questions regarding traffic shaping, or can we move? Yeah.
We do a lot of traffic shaping in our switches.
Uh-huh.
Using Cisco or HP switches. In these cases, would you still suggest to use the traffic shaping additionally in the?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. And it's very, this grows complex very fast. So it's better not to add an extra layer. Actually, we have the priority there, because if you start adding and adding rules, okay, you may have some instances of packages. From the human point of view, it's difficult to see it, but when you have to manage hundreds of packages per second, then you may have instances that cannot satisfy of the rules. So you either satisfy these rules, or okay, you have a contradiction there. So with this priority parameter, you are telling the system which rules are really important. Okay, make sure you enforce this, and these other are small optimizations. So in case there is a contradiction of rules, this is the one that you have to accomplish. Okay. Yeah, let's move to the, if there is no more questions, let's move to the next module. Multi-gateway. Okay, multi-gateway. Nowadays it's very common to have more than one internet connection. Why? Because we rely on that internet connection to be able to work. Okay. If you have 40 workers, and you are cheap and you have only bought one internet connection, you miss one day of work of 40 persons, okay? you do the math. Okay? That's a lot of money. And an extra connection is, I don't know, 40, 50 euros, depending on your country. This is a very bad country for internet connections, actually. But anyway, the message here is that it's recommended to have, if your workers really need internet to work, which is more and more common, you really need more than one internet connection. Okay? And if we have several internet connections, what we can do with that using Zentyal? We can do basically three things. One of them is balancing. Okay? We balance the connections, so we are using all the bandwidth. Another thing that we can do is multi-gateway rules. So, for example, we have one internet access that has very good, which means low latency, but not much bandwidth. We can reserve that internet connection just for calls, okay? And then we have a cheap one that is flat rate and is for big downloads. So we can choose which protocol will go in which gateway. And the third one is one failover, okay? One failover makes your deployment more robust, automatically switching the internet accesses that are offline. Okay. So let's see the. Do you have the scenario? Okay.
Just one of them because the network connection.
We don't have network connection. Okay, doesn't matter. Yeah, let's go to one failover, for example. Yeah, the session is dead. Don't worry. Administrator. Administrator R at the end. Okay. Gateways. Okay. So yeah, one second, please. 1 second. Yeah. So we have these two gateways. Okay, one of them will be the default. And yeah, of course, this is just two NATs. So we are tricking Zentyal. In reality, there is only one connection, but yeah, the virtual machine believes there are two. So if we want to enable traffic shaping, we just go there and click enable. Okay, easy, right? That's it. Okay, and no, don't change because we have to say something. Okay. So the balancing will be done depending on the weights. So I have double bandwidth on this internet connection. So this is weight 2. I have weight 1 on this other one. Okay. And also another thing that is important to realize at this point is that the connection balancing, this traffic balancing is done at connection level. Okay. So your movie is not going to be downloaded twice as fast. Because if for the same connection, okay, we are talking about the same connection, the movie is a bad example because for the movie probably you are using peer-to-peer and that opens a lot of connections. Okay? For a single download, you cannot access through two different gateways. Okay? That won't work. So this balancing is done at connection level. Okay? But that is okay. You have a lot of workers. Each one of them has 15 connections open. So this starts to balance and use everything. Okay? If we go down to the multi-gateway rules, this is the second thing I explained. Okay? So you want, let's say, for example, I want SSH coming from the source object marketing, developers, okay, going through one specific gateway. Okay, you will do the same for the, and it's simple, it's easy to understand, but it's actually very flexible. You can choose depending on the source, on the destination, the specific service, the interface they are using to enter Zentyal. Okay, so you have a lot of combinatory power there. Okay. And last of all, let's go to one failover. Okay. So here you will configure rules to test the connections. Okay. So, well, for each one of the gateways, you will establish a set of rules. For example, pinging these machines, or making a small HTTP download, etc. And you can also establish the required success ratio. Okay. So this means that it's not a yes or no thing. It also can control quality. You may say if this connection is not totally off, but is losing 4 out of every 10 packages, it's not good already for video conferencing. Okay, so I want to turn it off until it becomes better. Okay. Yeah. So also you have this number of profs you want to do and the time between checks. Okay. You have to be slightly careful with this because what I have seen a lot of times is people saying, "Oh, cool," and putting like 5 checks per gateway every 2 seconds. Okay, that will consume a lot of traffic, and it's not a good idea in general. Let's go to the gateways. Okay, so yeah, next. Any question regarding this?
If I'm correct, you can have a preferred gateway for one server.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, then it takes the other one.
Yeah. The thing is that there is an order here. Okay. So one failover is the boss. One failover rules over the other rules, and then you have multi-gateway, and then you have balance. Traffic balance. So if you have traffic balance and have a multi-gateway rule, and you have a traffic balance for VoIP, VoIP has the priority. So it will always come through that gateway. The rest of the connections will be balanced. Okay? And if you have a multi-gateway rule, a one failover rule, it will erase all the other rules. Not erase, really, because the one failover is very intelligent and saves the last state. Okay? But temporarily, it doesn't make sense to say, no, but VoIP is going through this gateway. Yeah, but this gateway is off. So, okay, what do you want? No service at all? Or okay, so yeah, one failover has the priority, then multi-gateway rules, and last of all, traffic balance. You can do any combination. For example, I have seen deployments where they have a auxiliary internet connection, and this one is paid per megabyte. Okay, so you don't want to do balancing. Okay, you just want to do failover. Okay, so these 3 elements you can do any combination, and you have to think about the priorities in the rules. Okay, let's go to the. Okay, VPN is also a central service in Zentyal, in the gateway part. Okay. Let's go to the first slide. Okay, so VPNs. Anyone here doesn't know how a VPN works? I will explain it anyway for the shy people. So basically, you can expose your services to the internet, but you know, internet is the jungle. You have botnets, you have people sniffing your traffic, even governments. We have recently learned. So it's really a security liability to have all these services exposed to the internet, and some of that you may just want to put them for your employees. Okay, so what VPN does is creating a safe tunnel between these remote workers and your offices. Or in the second operation mode, we have 2 operation modes. One is called Road Warrior. I don't know who puts these names, but it's called like that. So one is called Road Warrior, and the other is the Zentyal to Zentyal connection. Okay? Because the second mode will be just if you have several offices, you want to connect them and create like a big LAN network. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, remember Dan's talk yesterday about security and third parties and so on? It's fine, because this time the third party is yourself. So as long as you trust yourself, it's okay. Okay, so using these VPNs, the remote client, from a logical point of view, will be moved inside your LAN network. It will behave as any other LAN client. It will access the local services, and this is important, in the firewall will behave as a local client. This is important because I have seen many times that somebody closes the services and so on, but forgets about the VPN. And then you actually have more privileges if you connect from outside than from inside. Okay, this is a catch-up. Okay, so this is based on PKI, mutual authentication. Okay, the server authenticates against the client and the client against the server with the PKI, SSL, certificates. You know how this works. Is the machine already running? Okay, let's see it. Yeah, we are changing virtual machines, so we have to re-log in every time. Okay, so how do you create a VPN in Zentyal? I mean, I have created a VPN myself, just command line. It's not that difficult, it's just boring, right? So in Zentyal, you just go to VPN, servers. You need as I said, this is the third-party authority. Okay, you create then this third-party certification authority. Some informational informational parameters. Okay, yeah, it's okay. It's optional. Nobody fills the optional one. Okay, save the changes. Okay. We already have a SIA, which is basically a pair of public-private keys that will sign the other certificates. Okay, and how we do create a new VPN server? Let's go to VPN for a second. I think it's not enabled. Yeah, this module is disabled. Okay, no worries. Let's go to module status. Enable the VPN module. Yeah, that one. Okay. VPN servers. Okay. How do you create a VPN server in Zentyal? You just put a name to it, and it's done. Okay? I swear you. Just put the name, Summit VPN or whatever you want. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so this has created the certificate for the service, added the exceptions in the firewall. Remember that this is, at the end of the day, this is listening on external interfaces. Okay, and started the daemon. If we go to the dashboard, 1 second. Okay. Down. Yeah. We have this server up and running already. Okay. All the hard and boring work is done. Okay. We want to create a package for a client to connect to this VPN. It's very easy. We just create a unique certificate. Okay. Important. Every client that connects has an explicit unique certificate that we have to create. We create issue a certificate for this user. Okay. Yeah, in general, CIA general. No, the authority. Ah, you have one already. Okay, you are way ahead of me. Okay, servers. And we create a package for this client. Okay, click there. We have already configurations for the 3 major operative systems, Windows, Linux, and macOS. Making it work on Android is trivial as well. Okay, we just put the certificate and tell the client which will be the public IP address they have to use to connect. And that's all. Okay, just put a made-up number. Zentyal will download the package for you. You just mail this package to the client. They can connect with this. Okay. And lately, not in 3.2, but I think it is in 3.0, we added the option to redirect gateway using VPN. Okay, because by default, server pushes you the routes that you can access through this VPN server, but you will be using your internet connection for everything else. But in some cases, you may want to all your connection, all the packages to be routed through this VPN tunnel. Okay. For example, you are in a library and just have HTTP access. Okay, you can redirect gateway, and from that moment you will be connecting through this server. Okay, yeah.
When you were creating the configuration for the client, he was using a name John Doe as a person.
Yeah.
Do you actually use the installation package for several machines that John Doe uses, or should it have?
No, it's a personal certificate.
It's a personal, so I can use it for all my machines that I'm using to connect to the Zentyal.
Yeah, okay. But it's a personal certificate. Right. So if we go to, Xavi, please, let's go a second to.
It's not client-based, it's person-based.
Person-based, okay? So the VPN Summit certificate was created automatically because you need one for the server. Remember that I said that it's two-way authentication. Okay. But that one is the personal. Right. And actually, one of the things we are thinking to improve, about improving in next version of Zentyal, okay, I cannot promise anything, but in next versions of Zentyal, is to use the certificate also for the Radius server. Okay, so it's your personal certificate.
Why not call the menu point personal configuration instead of
yeah, naming thing. Yeah. I know what you mean. I've been complaining about that as well. Yeah.
The question belonging to Windows 7, Windows 8, there was a problem with the VPN client, Windows client, because they need administrator rights.
Yeah, it needs administrator rights. And the reason is that the VPN will create an additional interface, a virtual one that will do all the magic, PKI magic, and then plug back in the real one. So you need to be root to create this extra interface. This is.
You also need to always, because it's making an extra root.
Yeah.
In Windows.
Yeah, exactly. You need to add an interface, add roots, etc. Okay. And yeah, if you are using Windows, you can consider maybe L2TP. Okay, we are talking about OpenVPN. We offer 3 types of VPNs: OpenVPN, IPsec, and L2TP over IPsec. So you can have some clients, depends on your needs. Okay, maybe if you are mostly Windows or all your clients are Windows, maybe you may consider L2TP, which plugs into the LDAP for authentication. Okay.
You think it's always also going to come a way to bind the certificates to users in Active Directory?
Okay, nice idea. Did you hear that, guys? Yeah, yeah. We have been thinking about that because, as he said, it's a personal certificate, and now we are just creating a certificate. So, yeah, maybe we have to think about the interface and how to make clear that this LDAP user has this personal certificate. So we take the note, okay?
How many Windows clients are out there that are using VPN? What do you think?
I don't have the stats.
What do you think, 90%?
Yeah.
Good. So wouldn't it be nice to have a solution that worked with these 90% without giving them administrative?
Yeah, but the thing is that it's not a Zentyal thing. It's that we are using OpenVPN and.
But there are another client there. This function. There's a
Yeah.
Windows service. And
Yeah, but actually that's why we included the L2TP, because L2TP works really out of the box.
it's an open VPN client. It had a
Yeah,
Windows service.
yeah. Actually, you have the software in the package. If you select, can we go back to the? Well, you know it, right? Yeah. Let's go back to the servers, download client bundle, and if you select Windows, you can add the installer. Okay. So you don't have to worry about downloading the installer and putting everything together.
But this is also now a problem with the administrative rights. So we cannot use this installation packet on Windows machines.
Without administration rights, no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And do you give your employees administrative rights on your clients? You don't.
No, you don't.
That's exactly.
Can't use it.
Yeah, well, that's a limitation. Well, yeah, we are using Open. The thing is that we are using OpenVPN, Android, Linux, Macintosh.
We're talking about 10% of our market, right?
Yeah, but we still have IPsec and L2TP. So, and the L2TP module plugs into the Samba. So that's if you are using Windows, that's probably what you need to do. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next module. Any more questions with this VPN? Yeah. That's the. Yeah, you know what? That's the old version of the slide, but nah, it doesn't matter. Okay. So HTTP proxy. Okay. So probably you have one of these proxies in most of your deployments. You can do several things with the HTTP proxy. First of all, if you are in a company, your users are probably visiting a common set of web pages. Okay. So if you do caching, you will save bandwidth and you will have faster response time for your users. And also a very common thing is to restrict some contents. You have several profiles. You want to change the pages that can be visited depending on who is logged at that time, etc. Okay. You also have some bandwidth control built in into the proxy, a mechanism that is actually very clever. Okay. The delay pools. And, well, remember the first slide when I was saying that forget about Samba and Kerberos and so on? Okay, I was lying. Okay. This proxy, this proxy part will hook into the Samba and Kerberos subsystems, and we will get very nice benefits from it. Okay, so next. Okay, yeah, this is the underlying technology in our proxy: Squid, Dance Guardian, ClamAV for the antivirus, okay, Dance Guardian for the content. You have it in the documentation already. So, can we go to the next? Okay, so the first and maybe most important decision that you have to take when you want to deploy a proxy is whether it will be transparent or not. Okay, each decision has advantages, pros and cons. Okay, so the transparent proxy, the connection is cached by the firewall on the fly and redirected through the proxy. So it's an implicit redirection. The client doesn't have to know about it. Okay. Of course, the obvious pro of this option is that you don't have to configure the browsers of the client. So if you have 300 people in your organization, okay, no problem. You put a transparent proxy and magically the HTTP connection will be routed through the proxy. Okay. Yeah, we have some diagrams. The next slide. Okay. So yeah, transparent and non-transparent. Okay? In one case, the connection is implicit, and on the non-transparent version, you have to explicitly open a connection to the proxy, and you have to configure it on the browser. Okay? So, yeah, you can put global filters. You can also filter by object, because the proxy knows the original source IP. But we suffer from some limitations if we are using a transparent proxy. That, again, may apply to your case or may not. Okay? Just put in the pros and cons, so you decide. First of all, you don't do user authentication if you have a transparent proxy. Why? Because the browser doesn't know that it has to do it. Okay? Browser doesn't know about the proxy, the person in the middle, which leads us to the next limitation, the HTTPS filtering. Okay? HTTPS is a point-to-point secure protocol using PKI, blah, 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 blah. If the browser knows that it's accessing HTTPS through a proxy, it will work, because it knows that I'm proxying HTTPS, so I'm validating against this proxy, and this proxy is accessing the remote site. If you just cut the connection without its knowledge and solve it through the proxy, that is what we call, come on, a man in the middle, right? A man in the middle. So security will fail, and you will get an alert, and basically it won't work. Last one. Yeah, I'm still in the last one. No. Previews. Yeah. And also there is this single sign-on mechanism, which is very nice, but we will explain it with the demo. Okay? That you cannot do with a transparent proxy. Okay, so you say, okay, so if a transparent proxy has this limitation, no problem. We use non-transparent proxy. Okay, but there is a but. The non-transparent proxy has two, I won't call it problems, but two inconveniences. One of them, you have to configure the proxy in the browsers. And secondly, the users, each time they want to browse, they will see the pop-up with a login. Okay, and they don't want that, right? They want to just browse. Okay, so we will solve these two inconveniences using, that's where I say I lied, using the Samba 4 and Kerberos subsystems. So first inconvenience, configuring proxy, no problem. Now, with Zentyal, we support GPOs. You can configure a GPO to automatically get the proxy configuration each time you log into the domain. Okay, it's not this GPO is for the moment is not built in the interface itself, but it doesn't matter. You can use any client, any Windows client, log in as the domain administrator, and using AirSat tools, you can upload this policy to the Zentyal server. And this Zentyal server will enforce it to all the other clients. Okay? So you can do it with any Windows client that you have in your local network. You can even configure this thing, very typical, that this is the proxy configuration and you cannot modify it as a user. Okay? Second inconvenience, the login window. Okay? So using the Kerberos and single sign-on mechanism. You know how Kerberos work? Want a fast explanation? Okay. So, okay, the Kerberos is a ticket granting ticket mechanism. So basically, it's like if you have a ticket for a festival and you get beers with that ticket, okay? The first time you enter, you receive a token, and so in this token around, you get all the other goods. This is the very basic idea, very informal idea. Okay, so using the login of the user into the Windows domain, he will automatically access the proxy. The proxy already knows who are you and what are your profiles and your permissions. Okay, we have a demo. Okay, So, yeah, first, yeah, the server first. Okay, so we have this proxy. Yeah, let's reopen. Okay, we have this proxy. You can see it's non-transparent, and we have enabled, yeah, another thing I forgot. How do you enable this mechanism? Checking that box, okay? Checking that box. Okay, you have this single sign-on, Kerberos, and if you go to the access rules, please. Yeah, you see that it's a group. Only the proxy group can enter through the proxy. Okay, it's similar to the firewall. Anything that is not explicitly allowed will be disallowed. Okay. Now let's go to the client for a second. Okay, so we have a Windows server, and this Windows is joined to the domain. Okay, let's open a page like /dot or something. Zentyal.com, okay. Okay, he didn't receive any pop-up. The proxy was automatically configured by a GPO, and now if we go back to the server, logs, proxy logs, okay. Okay, we know already who you are, okay, and where you have access, without having to annoy the user. Okay? Everything is working with this Kerberos and Samba. Okay. So we have bypassed the two main inconveniences of having a non-transparent proxy, but have all the benefits. Okay, so I think there is a diagram on the slides. Yeah, let's go forward. Yeah, so the schema will be like this. Click it. Okay, explicit connection, Kerberos ticket, internet access. Okay. Yeah, no. Let's go to the question. I have explained this already. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, questions? Any remaining questions? I explained it, the basic functionality of Zentyal Azure Gateway. If you want to ask me about any other module, yeah. You are wasting your question quota, yeah. Yeah.
Mateo, what are the dependencies of the firewall and the UTM modules to the other ones? Basically, the idea is, could I configure a separate server as a UTM machine?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can configure this server if you want this proxy and you don't want to have a domain, a complete domain, and blah blah blah. You can set this machine as a slave.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's what you were referring to. Yeah, you can have the radius, the proxy, everything, and just be a slave of the real office machine that has the Samba 4. Okay, and it will just read the.
So again, the question: which dependencies do I have to the other modules? Requirement.
Firewall just depends on core, if I recall correctly. Network, yeah, core and network. Yeah, you can. Yeah, nice, nice one. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, they are not very dependent on complex modules. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah.
Is it possible to add, like in 2.0 version, to add more services? I mean, I need an extra service, and then add rules for it in the firewall and so on.
Yeah, you can have this. You want to modify the firewall?
Yes, I want to add a new firewall rule.
Okay.
For a new service I want to install.
No problem. I mean, this at the end of the day, this is behind this an Ubuntu server. You can install Counter-Strike if you want. Okay. Yeah, you will have to just create the service create an abstraction and say, this is my service for blah, 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 and enable it on the firewall. It's very easy. I have servers and I have several services that are not included in the Zentyal package. Okay. Any other question? Yeah, there is a question.
There is time for one last question.
Okay, one last question.
It's already reserved, I think.
Okay, maybe we can talk about it later because we're running out of time. Just catch me now.
One last quick question.
Okay.
Okay,
so yeah.
Thank you, Mateo.
Okay.